The fall of the Mamluks was a significant event in the history of the Middle East, marking the end of a powerful dynasty that had ruled Egypt and Syria for over 250 years. The Mamluks were a ruling class of warrior slaves who had originated from Central Asia and had been brought to Egypt by the Eypgt Sultanate in the 13th century. The decline of the Mamluk dynasty began in the 16th century, when the Ottoman Empire began to expand into the Middle East. The Ottomans saw the Mamluks as a potential threat to their power and began a series of campaigns to conquer their territories. In 1517, the Ottomans defeated the Mamluk army at the Battle of Ridania, and Sultan Selim I proclaimed himself the ruler of Egypt. Despite this defeat, the Mamluks continued to hold power in Egypt and Syria, and they were able to resist Ottoman control for several decades. However, by the early 19th century, the Mamluks were facing significant internal and external pressures. The rulers of Egypt were increasingly isolated from the rest of the world, and they faced competition from European powers for control of trade routes and resources. In 1801, the French invaded Egypt, and the Mamluks were forced to ally with the British in order to repel the invasion. However, this alliance was short-lived, and the British eventually turned against the Mamluks, who they saw as a threat to their own interests in the region. In 1811, the Ottoman Sultan Selim III attempted to reform the Mamluk army, which had become corrupt and ineffective. However, this led to a rebellion by the Mamluks, who saw the reforms as a threat to their power. The rebellion was eventually put down by the Ottomans, and many Mamluks were killed or exiled. The final blow to the Mamluk dynasty came in 1819. When Ibrahim Pasha, the son of the Ottoman ruler Muhammad Ali, invaded Syria and defeated the Mamluk army. Many Mamluk leaders were killed in the battle, and those who survived were forced to flee into exile. With the defeat of the Mamluk army, the dynasty came to an end, and the Ottomans were able to establish their control over Egypt and Syria. The fall of the Mamluks had significant consequences for the Middle East. It marked the end of a powerful dynasty that had ruled Egypt and Syria for centuries, and it paved the way for the rise of new powers in the region, such as the Ottomans and the European colonial powers. The fall of the Mamluks also highlighted the challenges faced by traditional ruling classes in the face of new political and economic forces, and it demonstrated the changing nature of power and authority in the modern world.